Now that the hull has been constructed, the forward control planes, the Skegs, the aft control planes, the rudders, and this structure to support the rudders can be installed. I will not be installing the screws. That's because they're going to be painted in a different color to the rest of the hull, so it'll just make it more difficult to paint them later on. I will install them once they have been painted in their correct color. Of all of these components, by far the most awkward to work with are the Skegs. They are very small and delicate, and there is a lot of cleanup from some rather awkwardly positioned injection points. When cleaning up the first of these Skegs, I actually managed to break the propeller shaft. That made me be even more careful with the second Skeg, carefully holding it with needle nose pliers, and at least that one I was able to reasonably clean up. As for the installation of the Skegs and the propeller shafts, this is also quite disappointing. The fit is rather poor. Somehow, Revell has made the recesses on the hull where these components get installed far too big. That means there are large gaps that need to be dealt with. This is rather disappointing and totally unnecessary. It's just bad design from Revell. In the previous video, I had closed the hull where the Skegs would insert into the hull. This was because a piece of photo-etch needed to be attached at the base of the Skeg. I found that the best way to install that piece of photo-etch was to install the Skeg first, and then slide the photo-etch between the Skeg and the hull, then glue it in place using extra thin super glue that I apply with a wire. Once the Skegs were secured to the hull, I moved on to installing the rudders. Here, I attached the rudders to their support structure first using extra thin plastic cement. Then, before the glue sets and you can still position the rudders, install the whole rudder assembly onto the hull. Once again, fit is very poor. I did a lot of sanding and in the end opened up quite a large gap between the support and the keel. But that did give me enough space to be able to maneuver the rudders and get them into a position that I'm happy with. Once again, this was overly complicated and the fit was poor. Once the lower support structure holding the bottom of the rudders in place was in a position that I was happy with, I then filled the gap between its shortened support strut and the keel with extra thick superglue. With a little bit of putty and some sanding, I was able to smooth out that support strut and get it into a shape that I'm happy with. Moving on to the forward control plane. Each of these control planes has a small photo-etch square that needs to be attached to it. I'm using the same technique as I used before. First, I place a drop of thick superglue onto the control plane, and then I place the photo-etch square on top of the glue. Before the glue sets, I adjust the square to make sure that they are sitting parallel to each other and are not rotated. Although the installation of the control planes is very simple, once again the fit is very poor. In this area of the ship there is quite a lot of detail, which makes correcting this defect quite difficult. Anything that I do here is going to damage the surrounding details, so I think the best thing that I can do is just leave it. There are also two very small pieces of photo-etch that need to be installed near the Skegs. I had previously not installed this photo-etch because of its proximity to the Skegs. I didn't want to damage them or bump them off of the model while I was installing the Skegs. But now that the Skegs are in place, they can safely be installed. Other than this photo-etch, there is some other photo-etch that needs to be installed on the hull. I had missed this photo-etch because it was on the second page of the instruction manual. I didn't think to look after the construction of the conning tower for photo-etch that goes on the hull. But anyways, in the end I did notice it. This is very simple photo-etch. They're just flat ovals with no detail on them. After cutting them off of the fret, I clean them up with the bar file and then install them on the model using extra thick super glue that I apply with a wire. Before I started the installation of these photo-etch ovals, I had marked the hull with a permanent marker, just to help me get them into the correct position. To install the photo-etch ovals, I apply a small drop of thick superglue on top of the permanent marker, and then place the oval on top of the glue. Before the glue sets, I adjust the oval to make sure that it is in the correct position and orientation. Once all the ovals are installed, I reinforce the bond using extra thin superglue that I apply with a wire. After filling gaps and removing the excess superglue with 400 grit sandpaper, I spray the new components with Mr. Surfacer 1000. This will help reveal any defects that need to be corrected. Fortunately, there weren't any defects, so I'm happy with the state of the hull, and it is now ready for painting. But that's going to have to wait until the next video. I have chosen a camouflage scheme that's going to be quite involved to paint for a model of this scale, so painting is going to require a video of its own. If you don't want to wait for the scheduled release of videos and want to watch them when they're uploaded, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button below. If you would like to support the channel, like and subscribe. And as always, questions are welcome in the comments. Thank you for watching. Cheers.